Welcome to practice. My name is Katie. I'll be guiding you through a short practice today. For anybody that does, more sitting than you want to, basically in a flex position in the hips a lot of the time. So we'll open up the front of the hips, move, breathe. So hope you enjoy. Thanks for practicing with me. So let's begin. I'm going to ask you to take your hands back behind you, and we'll take your feet out in front of you with the knees bent. And we'll just take a big breath and inhale. Let's begin by lifting the chest, and you can keep the gaze just soft towards your nose and hold. Good. For 1. Good. Lifting your heart, lift your collarbones. 2. Good. See if you can squeeze with your thumbs and fingertips a little bit. 3. Good. 4. And 5. Okay, and then we'll just kind of relax and sink into the floor. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, just lift the chest, but we're not going to hold. And exhale, just sink down and back. 1 more time. Inhale, a little bit of pushing through the arms. Lift your chest. Try not to throw the head back, so you can lengthen the chin up towards the sky. Just keep gaze to nose. And exhale, we'll sink back. Okay, from here, just going to step your feet just a little wider apart. I'm just going to do a little bit of windshield wipering with your thighs, your legs, side to side. Okay, so nice and easy. And we'll continue like this. So you can feel that you move back a little bit, and then you can move forward a little bit. So back, and then you can prop and exaggerate and come forward. Right, so these are just always suggestions, right? Listen to the body and try to feel somewhat natural in your movement, right? So let's do this a couple more rounds, nice and easy. Just kind of stretching out through the outer hips and also mobilizing the lower spine. Good. Okay, and then we'll come back to where we were. We're going to cross at the ankles, and we'll come forward to face the front of your mat if you're not there already. And we'll come on to the hands and knees. Right. If you have sensitive kneecaps, you can always place a blanket underneath your knees. But let's come into a nice wide child's pose. So taking the knees wide apart. You can keep your toes tucked under or tuck the toes. It's really up to you. Okay, and grip with the fingertips to the mat. Grip with the fingertips a little bit. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale. You're gonna round your back a little bit and let the hips come back towards your heels. Right? We'll let the head drop towards the floor. Inhale, we'll come forward, back onto the hands and knees with the shoulders over the wrists. And exhale, and just round your back a little bit as you come back with your hips towards your heels. Okay, again, inhale, come forward. At the top of the movement, you might lift your chin and widen your collarbones. And exhale, chin towards your chest. And we'll come back. Okay, let's do that 2 more times. Feels good to me. Inhale, come forward. Shoulders over wrists, lift your chin, broaden the collarbones. Exhale, send the hips back. You don't have to go all the way back, okay? Whatever works better for your body. Inhale, shifting forward, hold, and exhale. Let's go all the way back and hold here. Let's take 5 counts here as you let your elbows sink heavily into the floor. The head is heavy, so there's no need to hold the head up. 1. And the sides of the neck feel very soft. 2. And the eyes and the tongue are soft. 3. Bearing in mind that a lot of our tension comes from just kind of not releasing. 4. Where we kind of grip with the muscles. And 5. So inhale. Let's come forward, back onto hands and knees. We'll just take your feet hip width distance, and then we're going to get ready to come forward onto the belly. So inhale, shift forward, and exhale. Let's lie down right onto the belly and right onto the chest. Okay, and then from here, we're just going to maybe just stack your hands for a moment. Let your forehead come down right to the hands. Elbows are wide. And we're going to do a little bit of pelvic tilting
movement here from lying down. Okay, so it's more of a very subtle movement, but there's definitely something happening. All right, so inhale. What I'm going to ask you to do is to feel the pubic bone, the front of the pelvis, just really dropping into the floor, and you can feel there's more of a lower back arch that just happens naturally. And on your exhale, I'm going to ask you to draw the tailbone under and draw your belly in and round your lower back a little bit. A feeling of doing that. Okay? And then inhale, just release. So the belly flops towards the floor. And exhale, draw the belly in and draw the tailbone under. Okay? Let's do that again. Inhale, I'm going to release the lower back. Exhale, draw the belly in. Good. One more time. Inhale, let the belly flop. Exhale, draw the belly in. And this time we'll press into the feet a little bit more, lift so the knees are lifting. Good. And hold. One. Good. Try to soften the glutes and just focus on using more feet. 2. Focus on reaching up through the inner thighs to the ceiling. 3. Focus on pressing down through the pubic bone slightly to lengthen the lower back. 4. And 5. Okay, and then just release the knees down to the floor. I'm going to ask you to bend into the knees. And then from here, we'll click your feet together for a moment. And we'll just take your arms forward nice and long. You can either bring the chin to the floor or forehead to the floor. Up to you. Hopefully I'm still in the frame. I'm going to walk back a little bit. Good. All right, so we're going to just bend into the knees, feet together. All right, and then from here, we'll hold. 1. Good. Not from 2. Not too much for you to do. Just keeping the legs in a relaxed kind of shaped with the knees bent. 3. Good. 4. And 5. Okay, and then from here, you're going to inhale. Slide your hands back a little bit. And then we're just going to draw the elbows in towards each other. Release your left leg down towards the floor. And then move your right knee in a little bit. So ideally, the right knee is just behind the right hip. Again, keeping the leg bent. Try not to squeeze leg muscle. You get a cramp that way. So just let it be relaxed. Let it bend. And then you can either just point the toes slightly and trying to lengthen through the front of the right hip. Or you can reach back and hold with one hand. Or maybe 2 hands. Good. And hold here. And maybe just kind of reach up a little bit. So reach up through the thigh bone and then a little bit of a kick back foot into your hands. 1, 2, 3. Draw the belly in. 4 and 5. Okay, and then slowly release that. Just relax your arms for a moment. Shake out the hips and let the toes turn in. Heel spin out. We'll do the other side in just a moment. Ready? So from here, let's point the toes back, and then we'll bend into the left leg, nice and relaxed. Make sure the left knee is just behind the left hip. You might have to walk it in to the midline slightly. And then from here, you can just keep the leg bent like that, if that's enough. Otherwise, reach back. 1 hand, or maybe 2 hands. Good. And maybe lift the thigh bone up and away from the floor and get a little kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then release that, and then release the left foot, and then from here, let's walk onto the elbows. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders, and then let's spread through the fingers, and hold. 1, Sphinx pose. 2, hit hollow belly, lift your chest. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then lower down a little bit, and then let's press back into a child's pose. So take your knees apart and join the feet together. Release your head down to the floor, and then really let the spine feel like it's just relaxing. Hold. 1 breath, inhale, and 1 breath, exhale. Good. Okay, and then from here, Let's come up onto hands and knees with the toes tucked under. And then from here, let's come up into a downward dog. So let's make sure that you draw the belly in, chin to chest, down dog as you lift your hips back and up. Okay? So you might want to just kind of walk it out a little bit so you can bend the knees one at a time. And just letting your breath feel somewhat natural. Again, this is not like a heavy duty yoga practice. It's more of a just, like I said, releasing the body after, hours of sitting, or maybe it's hours of playing sports, whatever kind of tightens the body, whatever, you need to help you to rebalance. All right, and then from here, maybe settle into your down dog. We'll take a full breath using your hands, push down and away, lift your hips back and up, and make sure you draw the belly in. Exhale there. Good. Okay, and I'm going to look forward and step the right foot between the hands and lower the left knee to the floor. Make sure the feet are hip width distance apart. We'll untuck the left toes. And then from here, we'll come up onto the thighs with the hands on the right thigh. Pat up under the left knee if you need to, and we'll hold here. All right, so I'm going to offer different options. You can stay here, and this might feel pretty good already. If you feel like you need a little bit more, meaning you want more stretch in the front of the left hip and thigh, then maybe use your hands for support on the floor, and just take your knee back a little bit more, the back knee. So you can see the hips, you can feel the hips getting a little bit lower, right? And they can come back. So, and we hold here. So this does encourage or produce an arch in the lower back. So you want to make sure that you're not compressing and shortening the lower back. So a little bit of pointing the tailbone downwards and the belly draws in from the front to help you to keep the lower back spacious, right? And we'll hold here, letting the tops of the shoulders relax. This is a great everyday thing to do, right? Counter posing basically all the sitting. Take your ears to the wall behind you a little bit. Soften the eyes. Try to squeeze your inner hips to the midline so you feel very stable, and you can hold this for a very long time if you wanted to, if you needed to. 1, 2. Of course, there's a little bit of leg work here to keep yourself from, shaking or falling over. Stabilizing by using your core muscles. 3. 4, we're always looking to strengthen and lengthen at the same time in yoga. And 5, okay, and then release your fingertips to floor, or if you have a tighter body, use some blocks under the hands. And inhale, we're gonna shift the hips back and straighten the right leg a little bit, okay? So try to round the lower back a little bit, but pulling the ribs and the front belly in. All right, and exhale, bend the knee, step, okay? Do that again. Inhale, shift back. Exhale, bend the knee. One more time. Inhale, shift back. And exhale, bend the knee. Hold here. And then from here, you can bring the arms up for one breath. Inhale, rise up through the fingertips. Lift up out of the waist. Imagine holding something heavy between the hands. So you got to recruit your legs and core. And now reach up out of the waist. And exhale, hands to the floor. And then let's step back with your right knee. Let's come into child's pose for a moment. So hips towards your heels. And then let the head drop towards the floor. Take a full breath. Inhale. Take a full breath. Exhale. Good. All right. Just one more side. Inhale, shift forward, hands and knees. You might even lift onto fingertips because it makes it easier to step the left foot forward to prepare for this low lunge on the other side. Okay, so again, feet are hip width distance, pointing the right toes back. Again, you can stay a little bit milder version, sort of this kind of shape and angle, or if you feel like you need more, then take your right knee back a little bit more so that you can let the pelvis drop a little more lower. Again, pat up under the right knee if you need to. Support yourself with the hands and hold. So slight downward pressure through the hands. Let the elbows just drop in towards the sides of the body.
And then soften the eyes and the tongue. And by the way, try to lift up through the pelvic floor, up through the crown of the head. And that's like how you bring yourself to center and stay stabilized. 1, 2, 3. So hopefully feeling this really nice big opening through the front of the right thigh, right hip. 4 and 5. Okay, and then from here, let's take your arms up for a breath or so. Inhale, if you like, you don't have to. And exhale. All right, let's take your hands to the floor. And we're going to slowly slide back with your hips. Good. All right, and then inhale. Lift the chest. And exhale, you're going to bend the knee. Okay, 2 more. Inhale. You might have to raise the floor up to meet your hands, blocks or books or whatever you need. Exhale, bend the knee. Okay, 1 more time. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, and bend the knee. Hold it here, and then take your hands to the floor, and then step back with your left knee. Take a child's pose. 1 breath, inhale. 1 breath, exhale. Good. Okay, and then slowly walk with your hands, come all the way up. You're gonna keep it a nice, simple, short practice, right? So you're gonna cross out your ankles and then just sit back onto your seat. Okay. All right, and let's set up for a nice twist. So you're gonna take your left leg out in front of you, and let's bend the right knee, cross it over the left thigh. Organize your hips so you're in the same plane and they're facing forward, all right? So from here, let's dig your left heel downwards to unlock the left knee. And you're gonna keep your right foot heavy also, so feet first. Press your hips down, right hand to the ground, and then let's take your left elbow around the right knee, and then so you can scoop your tailbone under a little bit, but lift the chest. So is that possible for you to round the lower back slightly, pressing through the hips, and also lift the chest? And you can start to use your right hand for a little bit of support. Remember, your feet are still heavy, and slightly turn from the ribs, and then the chest, and then the chin, and then the eyes, and hold. 1, 2. We haven't talked too much about breathing, but keep your breath just nice and fluid. 3. And again, a feeling of, naturalness in your practice. 4. Not pushing, not forcing, but definitely there's, something happening, right? And 5, okay? And let's come back through center. Take your hands back, lean back a little bit so that you can release the right leg. Shake it out a little bit. Let's do the other side. Pick up the left leg, step it over. Right, again, make sure the pelvis is still, grounding and the hips face forward. Heavy in the right heel, unlocking the right knee. Heavy in the left foot. Draw the tailbone under a little bit, but lift the chest at the same time. And let's wrap the elbow around the right knee, or left knee, sorry, and inhale. So can you lift up through the chest while at the same time drawing the tailbone under, okay? It's a little bit of the tricky part, but this is the art of yoga. So we're trying to root down through the hips and keep the back ribs and chest lifting, okay? Let's turn sequentially from the ribs to the left, and then from the chest, and the chin, and the eyes. 1, 2, and soft shoulders, elbows come in towards the sides of the body. 3, or drop towards the torso, you could say elbows towards torso. 4, and 5. Okay, and let's come back to center. Let's release, move back with your hips. Take your legs out in front of you. All right, and let's come into our last pose. We'll rest on the back. I'm gonna ask you to slowly just move a little bit so you're more towards the center of the mat with your pelvis. Lying down. Let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana for our last shape. So we're going to allow the knees to come apart with the feet together. All right, and this depends on the body. If you feel okay letting kind of the thigh bones hang like that, that's cool. If you need a little bit of support, Then what you can do is use some props, blocks, or something to put underneath your thighs for support. If you don't have anything, just make fists like that. Slightly draw the chin towards your chest, and we'll rest a little bit. Okay, so really anywhere with your arms, you don't have to have support. Like I said, you can put your hands onto the belly. That can feel nice. Or you can maybe even take your arms wide into a T shape. That encourages more space across the chest and the side ribs and armpits. You can take really wide, deep breaths. It's really up to you. So, I'll invite you to stay as long as you like. At some point, you might want to take your knees up towards the sky and let your legs come into a more neutral shape. So perhaps straightening out, taking the feet a little wider for Shavasana position.